Okay, that's good. Sharing
And
screen.
if you have a problem with your opening the camera, that's okay, but it would be great just for this
Of course.
30 seconds or a minute.
At least for the photo that we will take later on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have an issue with Okay, Zoom doesn't want. Okay, so I'm not seeing you, by the way, but you can see me. I'm going to pretend nobody's there. So I think we can start with a few words for INTEgreat, for whoever here doesn't know exactly what the project is about. The event that we are holding today is for the INTEgreat project, is within our pilot activities for the project, actually. So the title of the event, the general idea of the event is to discuss the economic empowerment and livelihood of migrants and refugees. This is mostly for Greece, but we believe that this applies a lot in a lot of other Mediterranean countries, as well as European countries, either in a wide range of countries across Europe, either way. So I'm sorry, screen not changing. Did it change the image? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we will start with a short presentation of INTEgreat, which I will do right now, and then we will be discussing. I'm sorry, I have two people entering. Admit. Okay. And then we'll discuss two main topics with two very, very nice speakers, plus Damien will also be joining the conversation on this. The first question we will discuss is what main barriers and problems refugees face when they're trying to be financially dependent in Greece. And the second one will be how we can find the employment and secure financial independence and the challenges and opportunities that we see in our country. Again, as I said, I believe this will be applicable to many EU countries either way, so I think it's of interest to everyone participating in this meeting. Again, my screen not changing. So the goal of the meeting generally is to foster open discussion among participants. So everyone here is invited to ask questions, speak. You can write in the chat, or you can wait for the last 20 minutes of Q&A that we will hold with the speakers and all the participants that want to ask any questions or make any comments. Secondly, is to understand the biases migrants and refugees face when trying to secure economic empowerment. We will then discuss the main barriers and issues refugees and migrants face in Greece, and we will highlight and explore the good practices that we can all promote so that refugees can actually have a better life in the country of their implementation. So a few words about the INTEgreat project. It started in January 2022, and it will end in about 8 months in January 2025. The project's first aim is to offer innovative strategies to the integration of refugee and migrants in the local contexts of Athens, Limerick, Varese, Barcelona, and Nicosia. So basically, Cyprus, Greece, Ireland, Italy, and Spain. And it focuses on 4 key aspects of integration mainly: employment, training, access to healthcare and social cohesion. And INTEgreat has also received funding from the AMIF fund, so the EU Asylum Migration Integration Fund. We have some results that have already taken place. So for example, we have mapped and reviewed the integration strategies in the 5 consortium countries for the creation of a comparative report that was used to feed the integration strategy framework, for short ISF, and the guidelines. You can see an example here of what the guidelines look like. We developed the pilot content through a participatory approach. So the target group was actually present in the development of the content. The evaluation of the pilot projects will also happen at the end, which is in a few months, at the end of the pilot project activities. And the development of an exploitation plan, which will take place further down the time, of course. We will define the strategy and identify opportunities to facilitate synergies for the exploitation of the project results. So the project aims not only to assist with integration in the specific 5 countries of the consortium members, but also to inspire other projects that may want to take, or other projects or other organizations that would in the future like to take some kind of initiative like the INTEgreat project. Very shortly, I will go through our pilot project activities. So we have 8 activities that started from January 2023 and will be concluded at the end of the month. As I said before, this meeting is one of these pilot activities, for example. We created an infographic that we disseminated very widely for useful resources for migrants. So like a daycare centers, food for all project, career consulting for adults. We held soft skill courses, soft skill courses for migrants and refugees. So, for example, how they can create their CV, how to use LinkedIn, how to manage conflicts, how to present during a, I'm sorry, just another admission, how to present themselves during an interview, etc. We also organized roundtables and focus groups. Some of the people here were actually present in these as well. One of them was about creating inclusive workplaces, and the other one was on how can ICT technology be used to reduce bias in the workplace. Both had the participation was mostly from our students, and the discussions were very, very useful. Some reports will be out very soon. All of you will receive it as well. We will also do the reports that will be done will serve as mentoring initiatives. So we hope that these reports can aspire change within the industries, specifically the tech industry in our case, to have better working, more inclusive working environments for migrants and refugees. And then there's a networking event, which we're following right now, of course. We have also been doing diligently communication activities, so posting, iHub activities, blog posts, social media posts, everything, all social media tactics that can be used by an EU project. And then at the end, we also implemented a full stack web development course to cover the needs of the students that follow the soft skill courses, and we're implementing this for 4 months within the pilot project. And then very fastly, just to give you an idea of what the other partners are doing. So a lot of partners have a lot of activities. I do not have the time to present all of them, so I just chose one per partner. So we have Cyprus Synthesis. They're organizing professional English lessons for refugees and migrants, so that they can develop their skills in professional English, so how to actually secure a job speaking English. We have Doras in Ireland, and I think Aideen is with us, by the way. They have an employment hub, so they teach soft skill courses such as creating your CV, cover letter preparation, interview skills, and thematic workshops on employability issues. We have Italy Balafon, which is the coordinator of the project as well, who has a lot of actions, but one of them, for example, that I find very interesting is this health aspect, let's say, workshops. So asylum seekers and are taught necessary health information that otherwise wouldn't be available to them. And then in Italy as well, we have another partner, Unibo, so the University of Bologna, who is representing INTEgreat a lot of conferences. So for example, the Conference on Migration and Societal Change. It's presenting the project and its actions. And in the end, we have Spain, OCC, Open Cultural Center, who is organizing some very interesting cooking classes from the topic cuisines of the migrants and refugees who are part of their network. So that was it about the INTEgreat project. I don't know if there are any questions or anyone wants to add anything or say anything. No? Okay, so we can move on. No? Someone spoke? I'm sorry.
It was me. It was Damien. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. So we can move on to the first 2 people that they will speak. Damien, if you want, you can do a small introduction, and then Kostas can pick up from there.
I'm not sure if Kostas has joined.
He's here, Kostas. I just let him in a couple of minutes ago, yes.
Okay, great.
So
okay.
In the beginning, for me, we should speak about the barriers on economic empowerment and livelihood, but I have let also our speakers be very free in their topic of presentations, as long as they stay within the context of the meeting. So let's see what interesting things they have to say. So I will just pass the ball to you, Damien.
Thank you, Katerina. That's great. Kostas is an incredible person with great experience in the field. So I'll let more time for him to speak about this very important topic. As for me, also being the co-founder of this organization, you can see that I'm obviously excited about increasing economic empowerment through the tech industry. The tech industry has a huge talent gap. In our 7 years of existence, the gap is getting bigger and bigger. Our students all the time, it's easier for them to get employed after successful graduation of our 7-month full stack web development course. And from following the trends, I very strongly believe that the tech talent gap is going to get bigger and bigger. And it's up to us, all people who work in the third sector, to do our best to facilitate, to bridge the gap between the talent that maybe is not aware of the tech industry, of how a career in technology could help them and their families, and of course, to support tech companies find proper talent with the skills they are seeking in order to bridge that gap. That's for me. Of course, there are endless ways to facilitate the economic empowerment in all other industries, essentially. And this is also a bit country specific. So here in Greece, for example, the biggest industry for talking about refugees and migrants is the hospitality industry. There is a big gap there also, but that's seasonal, and the working conditions, it's not always the best. In Italy, have different needs in order for people to achieve economic empowerment. But the industry that unites all the EU countries and the world is the tech industry. Coming back to my original point. So our students, many of them started studying here, then they had to travel, they went to Germany, Sweden, Netherlands, wherever. They could keep studying and they found a job there. So the tech industry for me is the universal best possible option for all of those who want to join the tech revolution. That's it from my end. I'm going to pass the baton to Kostas. Costa, thank you very much for joining today. I'll hand you the mic.
Thank you, Damon. Can you hear me well? First to check the sound. Okay.
Very well. I have also made you co-host, Kostas, just in case you want to share your screen or manipulate anything the way you want to.
Great. Thank you, Katerina. So my name is Kostas, and I'm really thankful for the invitation to SHA. Actually, I apologize for the 5-minute delay. I just came from the doctor, and because I have a cold, I'm sick these days, and the suggestion was to remain speechless for as much as I can. But I didn't want to miss this event, so please excuse any coughing on the way. I am a great supporter of SHA, and I really believe in what you guys do. And I want to miss this because I think you're doing many things with quality. And if I can contribute to any discussion, any event, I'm always glad to do this for SHA. So just to tell you a bit things about myself to understand on what kind of experiences I will be talking. I have been working 7 years with refugees until 1 year ago, from 2016, serving mainly as a camp manager in two refugee camps, and also a deputy camp manager in Lesbos camp, which is I think many of you might have known. It's Moria camp, the famous or notorious Moria camp, and also as field coordinator in other camps in mainland. So my experience comes from the field with refugees and recognizing their needs and trying to serve their needs. And I'm also a career counselor, and that's what I've been doing also in the last years. And in the last year, I'm doing this on a full-time basis. I'm providing career guidance to high school students, what to choose in their life, which specialty in the vocational education, or what to study in the university. And I'm also doing career counseling to young people with limited opportunities, but not only staying on counseling, but providing them also with job, like connecting them with employers and doing, let's say, the actual thing, preparing them and finding a job for them. So with this, I have done many professions in my life, but these are the two connected with our topic. So on this experience, I will try to bring an insight basically about Greece. First of all, I would like to point out that the fact that the people are moving is not a phenomenon, and it is a necessity. It's something that has come to stay and will stay in the future. So it's not about putting walls and shutting walls when there is, and when something is a necessity, it will always happen, no matter how many walls we're putting. And the example of Greece is evident of this fact. Since 2016, we have trying to limit the flows, putting walls in the mainland, and also in the GNC, we're trying to stop people from coming inside, taking them back to their Turkish water. But still, the people are managing to find a way. Now, lately, they are discovering new routes from the Crete island, which is something very very unique happening. We have been having 1,500 flows only 2 months in Crete island, which is something new. So the point is, what I'm saying is that there is a need for people to leave their home. They would never leave their home. Nobody leaves their home if there is a true reason. And this is something we need to take into consideration. Also, it's important to distinguish when we're talking about countries, if a country is a transit country or a destination country. Meaning, do the refugees wish to stay in this country, or they see this country as a transit country and they wish to go somewhere else? In the case of Greece, since 2016, and this has never changed since then, Greece has been a transit country. Maybe Italy also feels like this for refugees. They just want to stay for some time and then move on to a northern country. But in Greece, it's definitely the case. We have been making a lot of progress in the way we are hosting people. We have been making a lot of progress in our asylum procedures. They have become really fast, and people are living in much better conditions. But we have an issue in integration. We cannot say that Greece is a destination country. People can see their future in Greece. And that is because people are in need, when they go to a country, to be able to imagine the future after feeling safe, after having a provision for their basic needs. The next step, if we also think the Maslow pyramid, the next step is to want something for their future. And that's why they came to Europe with a dream. And actually, it's very, very hard to make it to Europe. For people that don't know, I suggest there is a movie going on these days in the cinemas. It's called Io Capitano. It's about 2 African boys trying to make it to Italy. And it's evident about all the dangers they face, and they know about these dangers, but still they are trying to move to Europe just for this dream. So after feeling safe and feeling hosted, and understanding a bit about the new country, Europe, then people need to create a future. And that's the fact that Greece is failing to help them see themselves after 2 or 3 years in this country and knowing what to predict. It's not that there are not opportunities, it's that it's not easy in Greece to predict your future. When they're asking something, they receive usually answers like, we'll see, call us in 1 month, we'll tell you in 2 months. So it's not easy for people to feel safe when they don't receive any specific answer to the questions, when they see that everything, or most of the things, are based on luck and opportunities that might come or they will not come. So it's not really, they cannot easily make a plan. Whereas if they go to other countries, they know from the stories of their fellows that you will need 1 year to do this, and then in 1 year you can take this certificate, and then you can start working and creating a future. And it's not only this. Sometimes, since everybody's moving to other countries, there is the thing of having a network of your beloved ones close. So if you stay in Greece and everybody is in Germany or in Sweden or in Holland or in Netherlands, then they are doing the same thing, because they wish to stay with the people from the same village or from the people they know. So so I wanted to point out that Greece is a transit country. They don't stay forever, and this creates also quite some, let's say, kind of problems to our job as career counselors, because it's not easy to connect them with permanent jobs, with legal jobs, with the jobs that have some, let's say, prospect for the future. There are opportunities like this. I and my colleagues are finding opportunities like this, but they want to leave. And actually, we're making it easier for them to leave. There is, after somebody's granted an asylum, they receive also a passport, a touristic passport to visit some friends. For 6 months, they have an allowance to travel around Europe, and they use this passport and they don't come back. So it's not easy to provide a permanent job because their mind is always on leaving. I have been cancelled as a person many times, finding these very good opportunities, and then they don't show up in the interview, or they leave after 1 month, and the employer, I'm also kind of in a difficult position with the employer because all of this was not communicated. So they are mainly looking for temporary jobs. As Damien said, seasonal jobs are the best because they make some money and then they don't commit to something for the future, and then they can leave to start their career in Europe. And that's also a point that I really believe in the work of Social Hackers Academy, which provides these courses for free for these people. And this is a service that they can take with them wherever they go. Whereas, as I said, if I find them a job, they have to leave the job when the need comes to travel. And we talk about this need, it's an actual need. It's not that they are not grateful of the opportunities they can get in Greece. It's just, as I described, the frame and their needs, they are not covered by this country, which is talking about integration. But so far, in terms of integration, we need to do a lot of work. So it's not easy to connect them with permanent employment. So I was just trying to, I would like also just to point out a tool that we have created for, after understanding all these needs that I was describing, we have created in an organization that I work with. It's called Junior Achievement Greece. It's an NGO mainly trying to educate on entrepreneurship the students, but lately we have been focusing a lot on employability of vulnerable people and people with less opportunities. And we tried to include some elements that they might need in a specific tool that we have created. So if I have 5 minutes, Katerina, just to say a few things about this tool in case somebody finds it interesting, because it's for free, and maybe there could be some inspiration or somebody can use this tool. So just give me a second to share my screen. So the tool is called Youth Achieve. The website is youthachieve.gr. If somebody enters into this website, they can find a lot of material, which is for the refugees that have come to Greece. Excuse me. But it's also for the young professionals, for the field professionals that are working with them. It's not, there are so many professionals working with refugees, especially social specialties like social workers, psychologists, lawyers, but you cannot easily find career counselors hired. So it's also a material for the field professional in case they want to help some people with their career issues, to have a place that all of this is gathered. So somebody can find information about work in Greece, information about education in Greece, the education and working culture that exists in Greece, and career orientation and some activities. So there are some videos in animation explaining the basic things, because that's exactly what we realize that the young refugees are in need. Like, they don't need a lot of details because they forget about everything. It's basic stuff: how to get your papers, what do you need to make an employment. If you find an employer and wants to cooperate with you, what papers do you need to start? Where do you have these papers? What to study in Greece, especially vocational education. We have also 3 videos which are like testimonies from refugees that have made quite a long way in Greece, and they have integrated how they did it. And it's not only the part of the success story, but they are talking about details on how to find educational and employment opportunities for real. All these are subtitled in English, and French, and Farsi, and Urdu, and Arabic, and Somali soon we will add. There are also role models, and everything is quite fast. It's not exhaustive in details, because we know from our working with refugees that they cannot stick with details, and they get tired. And also young people, and generally young people, they cannot watch long videos and see a lot of details. There's also a lot of material for the field professional, as I was saying, in case they wish to help these people with their job aspirations. So in the platform, there is material for immediate use on various career orientation activities, experimental activities for groups that they can do, self-evaluation exercises to discover interests, career tests and questionnaires, PowerPoint presentations for workshops, informative material for distribution, and biography on career orientation. There is also a tool to make a CV, very easy for refugees to start from something that most of the companies and employers are looking. It can be addressed, as I was saying, either to refugees, either to career counselors working with refugees, or to any field professional supporting refugees on career issues. To spread this tool, we are doing online training for trainers. So in case somebody is interested, we could arrange to create an online training and test you on this tool and how to use it, in case you find it interesting and wish to learn more and use it if you're working with refugees. We're also doing some big events, and of course, mainly we're doing workshops with young refugees to test all these activities. As you can see also in these pictures, these are all taken mainly with unaccompanied minors and some other shelters when young refugees are hosted. I don't want to stay long about this. It's something as a teaser. You can check it out, and if you wish to talk more about this, you can reach me, or you can reach these 2 emails, my colleagues who are mainly focused on this tool, while visiting the website that you can see below. That's all from my side. I hope I sticked in time, Damian and Katerina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Costa, especially for speaking to us, even though you need to stay silent. So take a good break. Before we pass on to Henry, can we take a nice picture? Can people, maybe if you feel comfortable, can you open up your camera so that we can take a nice...
Oh.
Thank you, Neil.
And also Kostas, stop saying
Yes, he did. Just give 10 more seconds for anyone who would be okay being on camera, if you wouldn't mind. Just for a nice screenshot, and then you can go off again. Okay, perfect. Let's do it like that. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So we can move over to Henry. Henry Hisenbelli. I think I'm butchering your name, but Henry, I call him Henry, so yes.
No, you didn't butcher it at all. Somehow my name is easy for everyone.
Good thing.
Yeah, first of all, let me thank Kostas for all the input that he added. What he said will help me a lot. Will help you actually a lot with what I'm going to say. He made very good points in many different things. Also, can you share presentation with us later. I will be interested. Thank you. So let's start by thanking social hackers Demi and Katerina for inviting me. I know them for like 2 years now, and they are doing a great and amazing job. I will tell you a few things about myself. I'm a political scientist. At the same time, I'm a second-generation migrant. So many of the challenges that you will hear me speak about, some of them I have faced them, some of them my parents have faced them. And due to this fact, I'm a little bit, will put some personal experience in this thing, but I will also try to provide you an overview of general challenges that third country nationals are facing in Greece, sometimes also in Europe, because nowadays Greece and the European society are very related in the migration topic. Probably there will be even more after the new migration pact that at the moment they are discussing in Brussels. I will not speak at all about that because it's still in the voting part, so let's not touch it. Yeah, I have worked many years in the field since 2016, to be honest, so this makes me very old. And mostly in the advocacy part and in the policy part. However, in order to represent properly third country nationals, I always believe that I need to be in touch with them. So I have engaged in the research field in order to have quite contact with them in their communities, in their works and everything, in order to understand what exactly is going on with their life and how we can advocate properly for their needs. With this saying, I would like to start with, as I say, a small history lesson that I think is very important for the people to remember, because I believe that most of us know. It's about our country, Greece. Until the 80s, it was ascending country regarding on the topic of migration. Many Greeks had fled in US, Canada, Australia, and so on. And this have made also the Greek diaspora quite powerful. After the 80s, the fact that Greece joined the back then European communities to the European Union, and the fact that the Soviet Union collapsed and all the communist states wanted to migrate in better countries, many migrants start coming as it's the reality in Greece. Even since then, first the Polacks, the Bulgarians, Albanians, particularly like myself, that came in big numbers. Greece started moving and becoming a host, and after 2014, a destination, sorry, and after 2014, a hosting country. However, it took us until 2014 to realize that all these things have changed and we are not anymore in the 80s, but we are in the 2015s. This pressure probably that the country had and all these years, and the fact that they didn't reform sometimes at all the entire migration policy, and particularly what has to do with the legal part of the migration, ended up in, as you can many times hear, the refugee crisis. For me and many other colleagues, it's a management crisis, because migration is a phenomenon that happened for many years. However, it was the first time that we actually had them in so many numbers. And the fact that migration is a phenomenon, people continue coming in Europe and in Greece. And how can I say, integration never happened. And that's why I also believe that today's topics and these kind of programs are of utmost importance, because they can help us moving toward that direction. With all this saying, let's move to the challenges and opportunities and what we can do in order to tackle and help job seeking and economic empowerment of third country nationals. Well, the most important part in order for to have a proper integration for someone, for a third country national, is basically to have a job and manage to be independent of any public or private assistance, and basically be able to create his own home. Third country nationals, particularly, I will focus in the economic migrants, without, of course, excluding all the other categories, if I can put it like that. Come in Greece with the hope of finding a better job and build the future here better than what they have in their own countries. At the same time, their access to the labor markets is also vital for the Greek economy. Let's tackle a bit some myths here that the migrants are coming and taking our jobs and are destroying our economy. Doesn't work like that. Researchers have proved that there is a positive impact in the Greek economy from the migration. First of all, they take the jobs that the Greeks, the natives, do not want to do. Dishwashers, they work in the fields, they take care of our elders and so on. And they also contribute to the GDP and the pension funds of the country. Only a few part of the migrants' income goes back in their countries. Most of the money that they are earning, they are respending them here, so the economy is moving, trickle-down economics, and so on. Yet again, they face a lot of challenges. Most of the time, when you will ask a migrant, a third country national, the first thing that they will tell you about challenges is the legal barriers. In Greece, often they face a lot of bureaucratic hurdles, such as regarding their work permits. First of all, there are many different types of categories that without proper legal assistance, they are unable to go through it. And there is also a huge delay. I might be inserted. Yeah, there is also a huge delay regarding the resident permit, which is actually also a work permit. Sometimes a migrant can wait from 6 months to up to 2 years in order for them to receive their work permit, which can limit their employment opportunities and, of course, their financial independence, because without having a work permit, you are basically unable to work, at least officially. We will speak a little bit more about unofficially later. And another part is also the high income criterion in order to get a work permit, a resident permit in Greece. In times of an ongoing economical crisis that we're living since 2009, and because of what have happened, COVID, different types of wars, and so on, it's kind of unfair to ask from a migrant that most of the time they are doing low-paid jobs to have a high income in order to be able to have access to their resident and work permit. So there is this problem. In order to achieve, in order to get a resident permit, you need to have a high-paid job, with most of the time migrants don't have access. And another part, which is a little bit more between states, is the lack of cooperation between Greek consulates in many different countries. Particularly comes in my mind Pakistan and Afghanistan, but also Nigeria, that in regard document certifications, in regard validations of documents, which are very important in order for them to get the resident permit, they are not providing them. Another part, which is, how can I say, essential, it's language proficiency, digital skills, and sometimes also cultural interaction. Let's be honest, Greek is a language that is only spoken in Greece and Cyprus. So most of the people that are coming here, they have no idea about our country, our language. However, it's essential in order to find a proper work in Greece to at least know basic grammar and to have at least an A2 and B1 in order to be able to communicate. Yet again, there are no official state facilities where migrants can go and learn Greek. There are some initiatives from NGOs, also municipalities, particularly the municipality of Athens. Mrs. Melina can probably say something later about that, are doing an amazing work in this field. However, there is not such a political will to provide more facilities in order for them to have access in the Greek language. Discrimination is another challenge that migrants are facing. If you see the annual report of the Racist Violence Recording Networks, the ones that are facing the most discrimination here in Greece are most of the time third country nationals. And this can limit their access to the market based on nationality, ethnicity, sometimes religion, so on. I'm sure that we all have seen a witness at least once in our life a racist incident toward migrants. Unfortunately, this is something that's happening all the time, and also sometimes it's happening also in the labor market. There are many job advertisements that sometimes, even though it's illegal, they are saying that we want only Greeks. All these are leading them to informal economy, basically black money, black labor market, and so on. Many migrants, because they are unable to get a proper job, a legal job, due to the challenges that I mentioned before, in order to survive, are going to the informal employment, and in order for them to survive. This, of course, has creates more problems because they are unable again to prove that they have a proper income in order to get a resident permit. Another reason, and this is totally a personal opinion, however, I would like to point it out, for a migrant to move towards the informal economy, maybe the Article 7 of the 4384 bill of 2016, which is regarding their pension and their access to the pension funds. Basically, the migrants nowadays, in order to have the full pension in Greece, they need to prove that they are 40 years legally in Greece. Otherwise, they will lose 1/4 for every year that they are not here. Even for the Albanians that are one of the first ones that came in the country, this is impossible. So basically, a migrant that is 20 years legal in Greece and not irregularly, we don't have illegal migrants, we have irregular migrants. I want to state that. Are unable to prove and to have the full national pension that they should have. Therefore, many of them may think that why should I work in a legal, again, in a legal economical work and not in the black one in which I earn more money. And just to mention that, there is also the challenges that migrant women are facing, which most of the time are women that are taking care of elders or sick people inside the houses. The fact that they are totally isolated makes them unable to have access to any improvements such as job or digital skills that will help them to move out of these houses and find another job in order for them to improve their lives. Now, what we can do in order to tackle these challenges and to minimize the gap between natives and migrants. First of all, most of the things are happening, as I say, from the NGOs and the municipalities through these kind of projects that are focusing in education and particularly in digital skills. Many of the migrants, especially the young ones that are coming at the moment in Europe and in Greece, since we are one of the main countries that they are entering, have the willingness to learn because we are living in a digital world. So this kind of program and the increase of this kind of project through the support of the European Union are some of the opportunities that at the moment we have, and all generation, for example, my parents, when they came here in the 90s, they didn't have the chance to take part. Another thing that I believe it's worth mentioning is to increase the access to employment support services, such as job training, language classes, and career counseling, which can increase their chances to find the proper job and economic empowerment. Of course, again, this is very difficult. There are some programs from the DIPA, is the National Labor Service of Greece. Yet again, these are very few, and with the whole unemployment that Greece is facing at the moment, these are not even enough for migrants. Again, municipalities, particularly Athens and Thessaloniki, are stepping up and trying with their own initiatives and with the support of the civil society to do something. However, we need more political will in order to increase such services. And since the entire project is also about integration, we need I have to mention that we actually need the proper integration, national integration strategy, something that will work, something that will include also the migrants themselves in order for them to be able to give the input of what exactly is working on and what's not, because you cannot organize a strategy for including someone without including them from day one. By doing so, I believe that we will tackle a lot of many of the challenges that I mentioned before, and will give them also the chance to participate in this country, because social participation, since we cannot have political in Greece, it's an actual part of integration that together with other factors will lead at them becoming Greek citizens through the law regarding Greek citizenship. Lastly, I want to speak a little bit about policy reforms. Implementing integration and inclusive policies in order to access legal barriers, combat discrimination and racist violence toward migrants and refugees, and promote equal opportunities for third country nationals is something that we finally need to not put in the front. Finally need to implement in Greece, because so far, and this is a comment for all the governments, because sometimes you will hear different things, that this government did that, this government did that. None of the governments that we had so far have a proper migrant policy here. Most of the regulations are coming directly from Brussels. The same thing probably will happen now with the new migration pact. I said that I will not mention, but I couldn't handle myself. Time for the Greek state to actually implement policies that will benefit the migrants, since migration, as I said from the beginning, and you can find that in all the financial reports, has a positive impact in at least in social and economical livelihood of the Greeks. And with that, I will stop right here in order for us to have a chance to speak. I see already Melina raising her hand. Yeah, thank you for listening to me. I hope that I wasn't very aggressive, because sometimes
Thank you, Henry.
Was great. Thank you, Henry. So yes, it's time for questions. Dimi, since Melina has raised her hand first, Melina, go ahead.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Thank you, Henry, for the mention. Thank you for the invitation. I want, first of all, to clarify that I no longer represent Athens, as I'm not elected anymore, so I'm not responsible for migrants and refugees issues in Athens, but I have kind of upscaled, and since February, the beginning of February, I'm helping the integration department of the ministry as an external advisor with the support of the UNHCR. So everything that is discussed here and what is mentioned by Henry, of course, it is issues that we know that they exist. And let's start from the things that we agree upon. First of all, we believe, I think, me personally, but also the ministry, we believe in integration through social and economical through our activities in the labor market. I mean, entrance in the labor market. It is a strong factor of integration. It's strong and solid, because every one of us feels safer, feels, I don't know, that has a perspective when he or she knows that can find a proper job or a career path. So I believe that after the many years that we were very much bothered by reception, which was the results of the crisis, the floods, and after we learned in the field the reception, now we have, I think, to work a little bit more systematically and in long-term, in a long-term way for integration. Because I agree with you, with all of you, I believe, that this is a long due thing, because Greece has, for the last, exactly as you mentioned it before, a little bit of history, since the 90s, we could have done, and we should perhaps have done, some things for the Albanians, for people from ex-Soviet countries, etc., etc. I don't want to speak more about that. What we are trying to do now, addressing especially people that are willing to stay, because we, today, I come back from Richona's job fair. Yesterday and today, we have a job fair in Richona. And the last week, we had a job fair in Malakasa. What we see there is this, how can I say, people applying for a job are not very solid and are not very certain of what they want to do. So they apply, they do the interviews, and then they don't show, or they show and then they leave. That's a problem for any effort of implementation of a project. It is a problem. But things like what you do, like, how can I say, Social Hackers Academy, SHA do, are more, let's say, not only flexible, but transferable. Okay, so I think that how we have to think about is to guide them to jobs that are more easily transferable, or jobs that you can do remotely, or things like that. I mean, any digital commerce, any. So that's why we encourage, as we can, entrepreneurship, small entrepreneurship. I mean, I personally know, but possibly everyone knows, people that have tried to make a small e-shop, and things that you can perform, you can learn here, perform here for a couple of years or whatever, and then if you change your mind, if you have plans to go away, you can easily transfer your activity. That's the range of the professions, or of the skills that we try to educate people for, or to train people for. Also, we have a big, huge gap in women's, not only entrepreneurship, but women in the labor market. Huge gap. I was looking at the statistics. The general population, in the general population, women work by something like 86%, I think. And migrant, or even more refugee populations, work only by 18%, which is a huge gap. That implies also other inequalities and other discriminations and other cultural issues. So I just mentioned that for all to know, because, for example, we have to give motivations to encourage women also to upskill and to try to work, even from and for those people, for those women, we might need to think of opportunities to work in the beginning from their homes. In the beginning, both for practical and cultural reasons that I don't want to mention. You all know, you understand. They can't bring their children, they don't have where to, and they are not allowed or they are not willing to go outside. But so jobs or activities that can be performed from their homes, either from one person or a collectivity or something, should be encouraged, I think. So that's my 2 cents. And thank you. It was very interesting. And personally, I think it is something that we need to do and talk with all of you from the ministry. This is at least my personal opinion and plan. And I agree, you were not very harsh. I agree that we need a more deep and more systematic or whatever, not only policy, but also national strategy for, but you know, we do everything the same way. I mean, we do everything only when we are absolutely compelled, absolutely have to. Otherwise, this is a more general issue of Greek politics. It's not only I can assure you, it's not only in the migration issue. It always reminds me of the way we did the Olympic Games, now that we have an Olympic year. I mean, we had to, and then the last 6 months, everyone, you remember the joke with Aliagas that was hammering the last nail. This is the way that we do all politics. So we try our best. Thank you.
Thank you, Melina. Thank you very much. This was very interesting feedback. I also saw a hand rising from Dimitar. And
one thing before
I'm sorry, of course, go.
Yeah, I had to acknowledge, I forgot to say that regarding on integration strategies, the ministry have actually started some meetings with migrant communities, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders in order to produce such a strategy, which is a first step. And I found it a good first step. I hope that they will continue in this way.
Perfect, thank you. Indeed,
also our experience with the ministry, they are very welcoming, they are eager to listen, they are eager to learn. I really see the light in this section of the ministry. So looking forward to work more. I think Dimitar was just clapping his hands.
Not,
I was just clapping, yeah. However, beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neil also was only clapping, or did she have a question? Because I thought.
No, just clapping as well.
Okay, there was a lot of clapping to this meeting. So we actually have reached the 1 hour of the event. So if nobody wants to add anything, we can leave the discussion here. But of course, if there are any other questions or comments, you are also welcome to go ahead.
Any points, any thoughts you would like to share, anything to add?
I personally found it very interesting to have the opinions of so different stakeholders. Thank you very much for this. I will write a report on this meeting, and I will share it with all of you. Also, something very important for us, I will send you in a few minutes an evaluation link. If you can please fill it in, it's very important for us for the project, because it's just to evaluate how the meeting was according to you. It will just take you less than 5 minutes. So if anyone here can take a bit of time out of his day today or tomorrow and fill this in, it would be great. And that was it. Damien, do you want to say anything? Do you have anything to
I
add?
just want to
No?
thank you, Katarina, for preparing this event, facilitating, managing it, all this, and also thank you to everyone who joined. Special shout, of course, to Kostas, Simidopoulos, and Henry
Of course.
for giving us the chance to listen to them and their thoughts. So yeah, just grateful for everyone's work.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Damien, if you want to stay 5 minutes, have a good day, everyone else.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good
you
day,
very much for
everyone.
being here. Bye-bye.
Hi, thank
Bye.
you. Bye.